Hello, welcome to the Marc Show, the cybersecurity show. In this video, I'm going to explain network ports. After I give you an explanation of it, I'm also going to talk about cyber attacks pertaining to networks and then how you can, protect yourself from it. So please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going dark. So what is a computer port? A port in computing has three main uses. Each has a type of receptacle in networking, computer hardware, and software. A port in networking is a software-defined number associated to a network protocol that receives or transmits communication for a specific service. 2. A port in computer hardware is a jack or socket that peripheral hardware plugs into. A port in computer software is when a piece of software has been translated or converted to run on different hardware or operating system, also known as OS, than it was originally designed for. So what is a computer network port? A port in computer networking is how a computer can use a single physical network connection to handle many incoming and outgoing requests by assigning a port number to each. The numbers go from 0 to 65,535. Okay, so 0 to 65,535, which is a 16-bit number. Some of these ports numbers are specifically defined and always associated with a specific type of service. For example, file transfer protocol, also known as FTP, is always port number 21, and hypertext transfer protocol web traffic is always port 80. These are called well-known ports and go from 0 to 1023. The numbers from 1024 to 49,151 are called registered ports and can be registered with the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority for a specific use. The numbers 49,152 to 65,535 are unassigned, can be used by any type of service, and are called dynamic ports, private ports, and ephemeral ports. So let's try and get some pictures out of things, right? So think of a port number as a telephone extension in your mind. In a business telephone system, the company telephone number is like the computer internet protocol address, also known as IP address, or uniform resource locator, URL. It connects users with the correct company but does not define who they want to talk to in the company. A telephone extension will connect them with the right person in any organization or an organization, however, and the port will connect them to the right service on a computer. Dialing extension 0 to speak to an operator is extremely common in all phone systems and is like the well-known ports that always define specific services. A port is always associated with a protocol. Generally, this is with transmission control protocol or user datagram protocol for communication, but internet control message protocol messages use specific ports as well. The port is specified by having the URL or IP address followed by a colon, then the port number. As examples, you have the 10.0.0.1 and then the colon 80, or you have the after the .com you have the colon, and then you could be a number like 443. With all internet connection or communication, there is always an associated port, but it may not be shown to the user as it is often implied by the type of communication. So a computer may manage many simultaneous connections on a single inbound port. This is because the local IP address, local port, remote IP address, and remote port specify each connection. A listening port is when the computer is actively waiting for inbound requests on that port number, allowing those connections. Port forwarding is when communication to one address on a specific port is then forwarded to another computer for processing. So let's tie network ports to cybersecurity. So how do network ports affect cybersecurity? Network ports are major factors in network security and cybersecurity in general. Port scanning, for example, tries all ports at an address to see which ones are open and listening. Attackers can use this to find vulnerable services that they can then attack. Firewalls take the port number into consideration when determining to allow or block communication. They are configured to only allow communication to the specific ports needed for a service and block other unneeded ports so they cannot be exploited. So, as an example of ports in use, say a company wants to have a website, email, and secure cloud transfer service on the internet. Its firewall would allow inbound connections to port 80 and 443 for web traffic, port 25 for inbound email, and port 22 for secure shell FTP, also known as F. Y'all claim I'm an AI, but I be messing up. Like, shame on it. Y'all think I'm an AI, but I be messing up. If you guys think I'm an AI, please put a 1 in the comment section below. You guys keep saying, how am I AI and I keep messing up, man? Come on. I'm human. So, secure shell FTP, also known as SFTP, it forwards these ports to the specific servers for each type of service. The firewall will block all other ports. So if an employee incorrectly tries to use FTP on port 21 instead of SFTP, it will be blocked. For instance, if an attacker tries to connect to port 3389 for Windows Remote Desktop to gain control of the server, the firewall will block the connection. So what is a computer hardware port? In computer hardware, a port is the jack or receptacle for some other peripheral device to plug into. These are standardized for each purpose. Some common ports are universal serial bus ports, right? Universal serial bus ports, also known as, USB-C. Ethernet ports, Ethernet ports or display ports. Some older ports no longer in common use are serial ports, parallel ports, and mouse/keyboard PS/2 ports. As a general guideline, if the plug receptacle is on a computer, it is called a port. If the receptacle is on a wall, it is called a jack. So what is a computer software port? In computer software, the verb porting is the process by which software is changed or translated to run on different hardware types or OSs, operating systems, than it was originally programmed for. This can be called a port of the software. So some of the examples include, right, you have Microsoft originally programmed Windows 10 to run on x86 processors, but is now porting Windows to also run on ARM processors. Microsoft programmed Office to run on Windows operating systems, but a port of Office is also available for Mac OS. Porting games originally designed to run on one video game console to run on another type of console is also common. So now let's get into attacks, right? So businesses of all sizes are susceptible to network security threats. Since hackers and cyber criminals are always looking for new ways to exploit network vulnerabilities, business owners must, take steps. Business owners, CEOs, CIOs, or whatever, right? They have to take the steps to protect their data and infrastructure of the company or the business, right? So we all know the importance of network security because we just talked about it, right? So let's talk about common network security threats. We have malware, and malware is a term used to describe a range of malicious software, including viruses, trojans, and spyware. Malware can be installed on a system without the user's knowledge, where it can cause damage or steal data. You have spyware, and that is a software that collects information about a user without their knowledge. It can track what websites a target visits and collect sensitive data like passwords and credit card numbers. Phishing attacks involve sending fraudulent emails or text messages to obtain sensitive information from recipients. The messages may appear to come from a legitimate source such as a bank or credit card company, but in reality sent by scammers. You have ransomware, and ransomware is a malware that locks users out of their computer or mobile device until a ransom payment is made. Ransomware viruses can be challenging to remove and can damage or delete files on a user's system. And then, this is probably one of the most common types of network attacks is DDoS, also known as distributed denial of service attacks. And that is one of the most dangerous types of security threats. It is a type of cyber attack in which multiple systems flood a target with traffic, making it unavailable for legitimate users. DDoS attacks can be very costly and difficult to defend against. So We talked about cyber attacks, we explained network ports and all that, so let's talk about how we can defend against network attacks. Number one, install antivirus software. One of the first line of defense against malware and other viruses is to install antivirus software on all devices connected to the network. Antivirus software can detect and prevent malicious files from being installed on a system, and it should be updated regularly to include latest definitions. 2. Create strong passwords. Another essential step in protecting a network is to create strong passwords. Passwords should be at least 8 characters long and include a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. They should also not be easy to guess, for instance, the user's name or the name of the company. 3. Enforce security policies. So a third way to reduce risks, attack on the network is to enforce security policies. Security policies can help ensure that all devices on a network are protected against viruses and malware, and that users are, using strong passwords. These policies can also restrict access to some network regions and limit user privileges. You want to keep that in mind. 4. Use firewalls. Firewalls are another essential tool in defending networks against security threats. A firewall can help prevent unauthorized access to a network by blocking incoming traffic from untrusted sources. Additionally, firewalls can be configured to allow only certain types of traffic, such as web traffic or email. 5. Monitor activity. So it's important to monitor activity on the network. Tracking logs and other data enables suspicious activity to be identified quickly, allowing security personnel to take steps to investigate and mitigate potential threats. So, if you don't do this, guess what? There's going to be consequences, right? Let's look at the consequences of network breaches. Data loss, right? A network security breach can result in the loss of sensitive data, such as customer information or financial records. Damaged reputation is next. A breach can also damage a company's reputation and make it difficult to regain trust of customers and other stakeholders. Loss of revenue. In some cases, a network security breach can lead to a loss of revenue as customers take their businesses elsewhere. Increased cost, right? Breaches can also lead to increased costs, such as hiring new staff or upgrading security systems. Okay. So, you just want to keep those items in mind. That's what I have for you today. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button and the like button. Once again, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button and the like button. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate your support. Is there something that I missed? Please let me know in the comment section below. Stay safe. See you in the next video.